Yeah. Very good morning to all. I'm Professor P.M. Kulkarni, Praveen Mohan Kulkarni. I'm a faculty at KLS Institute of Management Education Research, Belagavi, which is in Karnataka, India. We are presenting our paper on the topic measuring operational efficiency of fintech startups. We have looked into a lot of aspects when we wanted to study this area on the fintech, because fintech is something which is going to play a very major role in the total finances and how it funds the different organizations in terms of it. And in India, fintech is something which is a happening thing. Let it be Paytm, let it be Google Pay, or the razors, or any of these fintech companies. They are playing a very important role over there. But when we look at the another side of it, that is related to something we are trying to understand, is from the point of view of their efficiency as such. Okay, so this work, what we are going to do now, okay, it's going to be more from the point of view of the aspect of understanding how the fintechs operate. Okay, and how the fintechs operational efficiencies are being looked over there. Okay. So our present study understands the operational efficiency of the fintechs and from the perspective of startups. Now that is something a new thing what we looked at it. There are many organizations what we have understood that they have been performance related to the aspects, but from a very specific point of view, from the point of view of fintech, we want to understand this. So to look at it, we try to look at it how the to measure the performance over there. First, we did a lot of literature review and try to understand how the fintechs in the startups industry operate over there. Okay. So we looked at it as to how the fintechs are in terms of the global fintechs markets over there. Okay, how they find it. So we find a lot of technology that has been used over there is in a digital format, that is the cloud computing, the big data, and the biggest two things which are going to make a huge difference for the fintech to operate over there. Those are the blockchain and AI. Okay. Especially, I'm looking at it, fintechs being used. They're using the technology of something called as the blockchain. Blockchain gives them a lot of safety measures. That is what makes the huge difference for them. Okay. And in the past, they used to struggle with the security part of it, and that security part has been given by a technology that is the blockchain. So the whole operational efficiency of this revolves with this technology, that is the blockchain as such. Okay. So to understand further, okay, and look into their basic things as to how they are trying to have the operational efficiencies, we looked into certain parameters for them. Okay, and we try to understand how do they look towards their operational aspects as such. We find apart from cost, okay, apart from money, apart from people over there, there are other different challenges which are traditionally more than that. Okay, so we used to find that the operations related challenges are more than the people as such. Okay, and they're finding it very difficult, okay, to look at it. One of the biggest things what they're finding even now with blockchain over there is that trust and safety issues over there. Okay. A reason when we interacted with these people over there, or when we looked at the literature survey over there, they tell the biggest challenge that comes over there is that the technology is evolving very fast, and we need to look towards as to how we are able to integrate and update our trust issues over there. Okay, especially the security part of it. Okay, so one of the biggest challenge for them is they have to keep on updating, even though the blockchain is there, even though the technology is there, but yet they have to look towards a lot of aspects from those perspectives which we were not a part of it in the past. Okay, so like for example, if the security system was A in today over here, but after 6 months again there's a new challenge which comes over there. Okay, so one of the biggest thing what they come over there is the security as such. So considering one of these aspects, okay, they try to look towards this. Okay, so though build-in infrastructure, technological infrastructure is one of the biggest challenges as such. Okay, so based on this, we looked at it as to how we can create a particular model to evaluate their this aspect of performance. Okay, so we looked at Okay, if you want to only look at technology as such, it won't work out because it's a business model. So we try to look out different frameworks which are been existing in the market. Okay, like the balance scorecard is there, Lean Six Sigma is there. Okay, they have used over there. Okay, but we try to look at it. Can we make it still more better and try to understand it? So considering this, we created a particular model, okay, and we try to understand how to look towards these variables as such, okay, and we try to interact with companies right from the founders, okay, we try to look towards the managers, directors, okay, and we identified insurance technology companies, digital payment companies, lending platforms, okay, robo-advisors, okay, funding stage from different stages. So we started to look towards interacting with these people over there, and we use a technique called as the topsis over there. Okay, the technique for order preference by similarity to ideal solution. Okay, so this started to give us a lot of ideas as to how the variables come into the picture. So based on this discussion, okay, we started to look towards what should be the variables towards it. Okay, and we found out that there is four variables which can really help us to answer all these aspects of challenges over. One, uh, how they are in terms of technology, that is where the trust issues, digital, those decision rate. Because at the end of the day, we do find that there is some aspect of become a very important platform for us to understand the performance as such. Okay, so and we used the topsis to assess their operational efficiencies. Okay, let us take one of the biggest thing what we find over there is that capital invested. Okay, when you're operating in a fintech over there, capital investments happen over there, and companies annually should and must invest some aspects of capital either for technology or for making the platforms much better over there. Okay, and as the same goes over there, customer acquisition rate, even in India, the competition level for customer acquisition is very high. Okay, so retaining the customers, managing the customers, working with the customers, okay, and trying to see to it that you get a long-term perspective of the customers over there. That is where one very common example you find Paytm, okay, you find Google Pay, you find Phone Pay. Okay, I'm just finding these three over there. These people come out with a lot of reward systems over there, and holding customers from one level to another over there, or GPay also, you find a big challenge. So considering this, how the companies are making their scores towards this. So we analyze this using these four parameters, using Topsys over there, and our results showed something over there. Okay, and we used as a such digital payment for the fintech. Okay, and these are the similarities over there. Okay, and ultimately we find it. This is where it's over there. The rankings as such. Okay, you find it digital payments for the fintech startups over there. Okay, that is where the analysis was carried on, the Topsy analysis was carried on. Okay. And when we looked at it as a such, okay, one of the biggest thing what comes out over there as the fintech companies over there, let it be insurance or anyone over there, the first which comes out over there is the technology as such. Okay, and the second one is digital payment, lending platform, and robo advisories. Okay, so we find it that one of the biggest thing as a challenge or the scores what we looked over there is that from a point of view of technology as such. Okay, and second as to how they look towards the payments as a such. And when we looked at it more detailed, okay, in terms of each sector as a such, okay, we find there is the fintechs companies, digital payment, lending, and robo are using the methods that considerable matters over there. Okay, so we need to look towards as to look at where the technology investment has to happen, how the customer acquisition rate should happen over there. Okay, and the companies should be able to match with these things. That is where it is. Okay, and one of the things what they're expecting over there is that which requires from this point of over here is that the performance would increase if these things are being taken care of it. Okay, so overall, the fintechs companies performance index depends on one of the key things what we looked at it. Okay, we looked at that particular parameter. If you look at back over there, the parameter over there, it depends on something called as technology investment. So that is the key investments over there. Let it be any sector over there. If you look at the sector over there, okay, let it be insurance technology, let it be digital payment, lending platform, or any of those companies, the biggest thing is that if they want to perform better, to conclude over there, to if they want to perform better, technology investments are very important for them. They should be able to take care of the technologies. That is the biggest thing, because in a fintech company, if the technology is there, then they are able to perform over there. Okay, and that is where our the conclusion also speaks to a large extent over there. Okay, it is based on that as to how efficiently they are able to use the technologies. Okay, further, if any research has to be carried on, and if there is any research to be looked into it, they can look into other areas of the research, okay, which include as to how the regulations are impacting, okay, how the new regulations can be looked into it. Okay, one of the key things which we are looking at in future research over there is that how is the ecosystem in India and other countries. Okay, that is one of the new things which they can look at, compare between different countries. That will give us how this performance parameters, what four parameters are equally applicable to other countries also. So that becomes more generic kind of an answer to them. Okay, that would become more generic in terms of application over there. Okay, so that is where we are looking at an future research as such. Okay, so based on this, these are the references. This is how we looked at it. Okay, and we try to make towards this. Okay, and I would like to thank my the co-authors over there. Okay, Lakshminarayana, Basavaraj, okay, Sanjeev, okay, and Amit. Okay, they have contributed immensely towards talking to the customers, coming to the talking to all the people over there, try to understand as to how the data really went into it. Okay, it was a complete process of 6 months, which we were doing on this, and we got an opportunity to present in this wonderful conference over there. Okay, so with this, we end up our presentations. We are open for any questions or queries in this regards. Thank you.